Happy New Year, friends. In this new year, I'm looking to set up a solid stream schedule over on my Twitch channel and very well maybe live as of right now when you're watching this. So if you want to come hang out and follow for future streams or just chat in general, links in the description below. But let's get into the regular content. This year with Modern Warfare, the game broke tradition in a major way that players didn't really see coming. And for many, they didn't understand the necessity to do so other than to be just a curveball to break up the monotony of doing the same thing over and over and over each year. But when it came to the Prestige mode, that was one part of the monotony that players actually liked. It was a system that no one really had any gripes about, but we found it entirely cut out of the rank progression in this year's title. And it's been an adjustment for sure, some people accepting it, some just kind of milling through it, and then some still not a fan of it at all. While it's not a matter of the Prestige system coming back, some adjustments do look to be made to the system at hand, which may help the overall enjoyment of players, or maybe not, who are grinding through it all. It's just a matter of perspective. And today, I want to talk with you about said possible changes coming, stemming from a conversation with developers Joe Cecott and Joel Emsley from Infinity Ward, and what we can maybe see this turn into. So, that said, let me know your thoughts down below on what you think about the entire scenario. Firstly, are you a fan of the new seasonal progression system? And if you were to make some changes and adjustments to remedy what we have now, what would you do to it? Let me know down in the comments below, and as well, if you are new to the channel, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button to stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare on a daily basis. But anyways, the conversation begins with Twitter user BulletYT asking, since we have no prestige, can we earn a unique icon when we hit max level? That would fix the issue of not having the true grind in this game. Thanks, and he tagged Joe Cecott and Ashton Williams from Infinity Ward, to which Joe actually ended up replying saying, I definitely think there are improvements we can make in this area, followed up by another reply by Joel Emsley saying, you have my axe, pertaining to his art specialty and the art team's support on crafting something that could be visually a little bit better for max ranks and players that are really grinding the ranks. Now, what this is in reference to is the fact that right now, there's really zero reward visually for what you get when you hit rank 155 or any capacity really when it comes to your completionist levels with the emblems you get for officer challenges even. But the comment was made more so specifically towards the overall online rank, not necessarily your back end and your rank progression with officer challenges. But if at first this doesn't make a whole ton of sense, to lay it out for you, if you hit rank 155 in a season, once you get through those enlisted ranks, once you go through the 100 officer ranks, you get a blueprint, yes, but that's about it for your grind, which in season 1 is actually longer than season 0 because the XP yields were changed. But once you hit 155, your rank is static. It doesn't change, and the only visual things that can showcase any sort of accolade or accomplishment you get come down to what degree of completion you want to choose to embark on by completing your officer challenges. That's entirely up to you and not something that just is a natural progression like you'd see going from rank 155 to 156 and so on. So this is something that even on its own is a little underwhelming. You don't have any in-game modifier that shows that you completed 10, 20, 50, 60, 90, 100% of the season, except for an icon you end up getting, and personally to me, it was a bit of a missed opportunity. Transitioning into the whole first real application that we saw here of this, and with the officer ranks and the potential to give players that grind out the game a little bit more of a reward, what we discussed here on the channel and what I thought really could have been a cool idea outside of just giving emblems for the officer challenges was that of a prestige, if you will, with those icons, where the emblems you ended up getting for your completion of your officer ranks took precedent and then acted as a prestige icon for your in-game rank with the following season. So if you completed the first emblem, you'd have that as your rank icon with your number next to it in-game. If you completed 100%, then you'd have that animated emblem in-game always next to your rank. But as we know, that never really happened. But that also brings me to the thought of what if this is the change that could be coming up? And what we haven't seen yet, but maybe still in the future. What if instead of the initial idea, which we considered because emblems weren't really rewarded until the end of the season, what if with season 1 and beyond, with this change coming up, or maybe it is a season 2 introduction, these emblems that we now see granted as soon as you get them, what if that's technically then your replacement for your rank icon as soon as you hit that 155, or I guess technically 156 in that level cap? Instead of staying static, it changes over to your officer challenge emblem that you end up having with each new one you end up getting. So therefore, you do end up having an air quote prestige system, if you will, once you end up ranking up real fast through it and then trying to grind at everything throughout the rest of the season. What if that's the case? So you rank up, hit 155, and then say at that point you have 23 officer challenges done. You'd then have that second icon next to your name in game, and so on and so forth, continuing on as you completed more. I think that honestly, that's something that could be probably the most likely of changes here with it. It's not something that requires, I think, a huge overhaul in terms of how you handle the ranking system, and it's something that relatively makes sense already. I may be a bit biased because it was my idea, but I think that logically seeing what look like prestige emblems rewarded in-game, putting those in place of whatever rank icon you have so you stand out a little bit further, that to me seems like the most logical thing, does it not? So that's one thing that I definitely think is possible and what we could maybe end up seeing here with this, and certainly would be a way for players that are higher ranked to distinguish how high of a rank they really are comparative to other rank 155s, because only 100 levels really isn't a whole lot in a 2-month time frame. So by the end of the season, there's going to be a lot of level 155s. That's how it was in Season 0. That's how it will be again in Season 1 and every season going forward. So to be able to distinguish your sort of dominance over the lobby, that is something that players want to see, and I think this might be an easy way to do it. The only other thing though that I could think about being implemented outside of this would be some sort of way to show that you're a true grinder and show the career rank, which we have seen first introduced with Season 1 here now in Modern Warfare, and is a way to showcase your day 1 ranking up until that point, so crossing seasons and everything you'll see in between, and giving you that rank of how many levels you've actually gone through since you first picked up the game. Now, this is kind of the only other thing that in terms of modifying your rank, I could see happening. But at the same time, I also don't know how plausible or likely it would be, because it'd be such an awkward jump to go from. With each season, you'd go from rank 153 to 154 to 155, and then to rank 432 or 650 or something. So it'd be such an awkward jump that I don't know if in a design perspective and something that from data tracking would make any sort of sense. I think it'd be kind of cool to see over time maybe a rank 1000 or something like that, but ultimately getting to that, I don't exactly know how well that would work out. Obviously, whenever you think about that kind of stuff, another easy answer is just to say, hey, let us get past rank 155. Let us keep going. Rank 55 is that max level in which comparatively maybe you end up having that 10th prestige or that master prestige denomination where you get that reward for entering into that, but then after it, you can just keep going and going for as long as you want. To which case, maybe there's nothing. Maybe it's just your number. Maybe there are extra rewards added in, maybe like classic emblems. I know there's some talk about players wanting to see like how Black Ops 3 did it, where you could choose your icon, and maybe with each subsequent rank, each subsequent season, you have new icons from the various different Infinity Ward games to choose from. There's definitely a lot of things you could do with that, but of course, the further down the rabbit hole you get, the more technically challenging it becomes, and also in some capacity, the less likely. My thing though is that I think that this is a good first step of acknowledging what could be done here at this. There's a lot of prospect within this game in terms of the grind, but I do think that overall there's a lot of missed opportunities in how things were handled. So hopefully by acknowledging this, implementing some changes and some things coming in the future for players that are max rank and want to distinguish themselves a little further, hopefully that next step extends even further. Personally, I think that this game is definitely overall built to be a grind, which I have absolutely no problem with. I know that I talked about this a lot within Black Ops 4, that I would have much rather have just been able to grind out things that were abundantly put within the MTX system. I would have loved to grind that out, but right now I feel like the game is built for the grind, but with not so many rewards comparatively. You can see this with things like Damascus. You can see things like this with the mission challenges, the officer ranks, that the game was built for the long haul for players, to bring players back and keep them engaged over a long stretch of time. But when you look at it, Damascus may not be worth it to many players, and with some of the challenges being, for the casual player, incredibly hard at some points, it might not be worth it. Mission challenges don't really offer a whole lot, whereas they could definitely be an abundance of really cool stuff to organically unlock. Officer ranks, well, that's 100 challenges that, as we see right now, unless a change is made, all you get for it are emblems. So it might not be something that you think is worth your time. Personally, I think my biggest thing with Modern Warfare in the grind aspect was that I love the prospect of the mission challenges, but ultimately, I never really engaged with them because outside of 1 or 2 blueprints, I don't really find any of them to be all that special. If you add more special camos, not just specific weapon blueprints, I'd be all in on that. If you bring back things like Spectrum camo and put that in a mission challenge, I think that'd be really cool. I'd definitely go for that one. And we know that it's something that's possible. We saw that there was the Call of Duty Endowment camo that came along with that at the very beginning of the game that isn't blueprint specific, so you could definitely add more camos in. It's just a matter of actually doing it. Add more blueprints to grind out. I'd be in on that. Again, there's only like 1 or 2 with each season we see being added in. Even add more items in, and I think I'd be cool with that. The one thing that stuck out to me recently was a watch that I really liked. I'm not a huge guy on customization. I haven't really used any of the watches in game, but I loved the one nuclear watch, which showcased what streak you were on in game, but it was a part of a bundle in the shop for like 2,400 COD points. And at that point, I'm like, I'm not paying 20 bucks for a watch, something that every so often I'll be like, hey, I can check my kill streak. I just thought it would be cool. So I didn't want to pay for that, but I'd happily grind out some challenges for that in the mission challenges. If you add even more blueprints for, say, max rank for officer rank completion, that's stuff to be able to reward the player and coming back more and more. I'm just hoping that we see some more steps taken, especially now that this line of communication is open, that there is that acknowledgement that there could be a little bit more done for the player. But all in all, that's kind of where I'm at here at this one. Got on a little tangent, I do apologize, but that's where we're at here at this. So what do you think is going to happen with the ranks within Modern Warfare? Do you think there's going to be adjustments? And if so, what kind of adjustment do you think is going to be made? Let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section down below, but hopefully enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare, updates, news, information, tips, tricks, all that good stuff. We got you covered here on the channel. So if any of that interests you, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. And if you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected outside of YouTube. Practically live on both those. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. That said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.